Hello there, guys. It is me, the X whatever, and today is the day you wanted me to do this. What if Belle had Dio's powers? Part 1. I know me and my friend made another like one like this, but I have no clue where to start that. So, or what name chapter. So this is chapter 1. Anyway, part 1. You know what I mean. Anyway, I'll get to this. Back before long, there was a person named Dio. He was supposed to be grown to be a god, or think himself one. But sadly, his dream was destroyed by the Joestar bloodline. Jodrokujo. His stand far surpassed the world with with his precise precision and potential. And I don't know if there's potential, but whatever. Dio had a plan for this. If he was ever defeated, he'd have two contingency plans. One, Poochie gets the book and achieves heaven. After Poochie achieves heaven, when Poochie's stand dies, an arrow will form from his chest as the universe will begin resetting. After the world resets, the arrow will be put somewhere in another universe or another timeline. And this one, the Joestars never existed. The arrow looked like it had a star in the center, like a blue, like a ruby shining in the night sky. The arrow, completely gold and silver. And now, we hear someone screaming. Oh God, God, God. I'm gonna die. As Bell says this to his words, the Minotaur grabs him and throws him away, which causes more Minotaurs to follow the first Minotaur, and begins chasing Bell. As soon as they begin chasing him, they suddenly Bell went to a floor. He went to the floor, or the ground started to shake and collapse, or crumble. He fell through the floor, and he didn't know what floor number he was on. When he got up, he didn't know where he's at. And he looked behind him and sees the three Minotaurs completely dead, impaled by the fall or the rubble. So, Bell's reaction was, "What? Where the hell am I? What is this place? I haven't seen this floor before." As he looks to the center and sees an arrow, it had a star-shaped thing on it. As he begins walking towards it, he doesn't know why, but he feels like he's drawn to it, like it's calling him for some reason. As soon as Bell touches the arrow, a huge flash of white envelops him. And next thing you know, he wakes up in some place. It was really dark and very hard to see, but appeared in front of him was a figure that was 15 meters, like 10 meters away from him. This person looked like a man, but he gave an aura off like he's lived for millennia, like a god's aura, but very different. The man turned from him and just says, "Well," as he's closing the book, "someone's found the arrow. I must say, you're pretty lucky to survive. But this will be the time where we meet sometimes. For now, you've been gifted with that ability. Belle looked in confusion at this person. As Belle suddenly feels his whole body shaking and incredibly weakened. As Belle closes eyes in the dreamscape, he opens them to where he opens them and he just sees himself in the infirmary. As he's like wondering what happened, and Ina, who was there, went up to him and like said, "Oh, thank goodness, Belle, you're all right. Ina, could you stop hugging me? You're breaking my bones." As Ina's like, "Oh, sorry, Belle." As one of the Loki familias, like, let's just say Rivia was there, or Finn, got up from the chair and bowed to him like, "We're so sorry for your inconvenience, Mr. Cornell. We were the ones that fought filling the Minotaurs out, and thank goodness you survived that attack. Thankfully, River had just enough time to heal you." As Belle's thoughts were, wait, so they weren't 3 Minotaurs? As Belle looked at him, looked up, I love the fact that I'm like doing the video, guys. So let's just see how far. Oh, sorry, let's just see how far I'm going. 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, guys, tell me if you don't like if you like this version of me not swearing, then I will definitely try not to do my future videos. But I'm gonna get to it. Esfin got up from his bowing position, looked up and looked at him with confusion. 3 Minotaurs? Man, that one Minotaur must have really put some real trauma on your head. There's only one Minotaur. Asbel was shocked. He was so sure that there were 3. Asbel's like, you know what? Yeah, there probably was one. I must have been too much shocked and must have thought there were 3. I'm so sorry, guys. That a lot of noise. I'm at my auntie's house, and yeah. If you guys really like this, anyway, I'll shut up and get to it. As Bell's like, he tries to get up, but he feels the pain over his body. As Ina says, and Finn says, "Whoa there, whoa there. You got it. Whoa there. Just take it easy. Rivia did manage to heal you, but not all the way. You have to heal all that by yourself." As Bell's like, "Okay." As she makes a fake smile. As Belle begins getting up and heading off, and Finn says his last goodbyes, and Ice feels terrible about the whole incident. And after he got back to the church, he began telling Hestia of what happened, and Hestia was quite shocked and really believed that Belle made it out alive. But one thing she noticed when he came back, when she updated his stats, was a star on his shoulder, which wasn't there before. As Hestia said, "Hey, Belle." "Yeah, goddess? Um, has this star shape always been on your back?" "What do you mean?" Belle asks in confusion. As Hestia points out this, "Well, Belle, there's a star-shaped birthmark on your back." As Belle says, "What? When did that get there?" As Hestia's like, "Probably must have happened when you've gotten with the Minotaur. I don't know, just be careful next time, please, Belle. You're lucky that this birthmark, or probably is a scar, is just that minor. It would be much worse if it was bigger." As Belle thinks about this and agrees with Hestia. As Belle begins getting up and begins leaving. As he begins walking to the dungeon, His body feels a bit stronger, and he's healed almost completely, which was weird. Ina said it will take him 3 weeks to heal, but Bell feels that he's fully healed completely. And those of you wondering, yes, correct, vampiric strength. And reason why he can't walk in the sun? Because it's a Joestar bloodline, and since he's the only Joestar and has Dio's powers, I'm going to say in my version he can walk in the sun. And yes, he'll be able to drink blood to heal faster. Anyway, I'll get to it. As Bell begins walking to the dungeon, and all of a sudden his stomach begins growling. And he just so happened to pass by, actually bumps into someone named Seer. Seer begins introducing herself and saying who she is. She says, "Here, you dropped this crystal." As Bill thoughts, I thought I deposited all my crystals. As Bill smiles, well, at least it'll be more cash. As then Seer hears Bill grumbling, and Bill's blushes in embarrassment, it's fine, just don't worry about it. As then she proceeds to tell him, Bill, Mr. Cannell, take this. Hands it, and she begins handing her lunchbox.
You're recording?
Yes. As Bo begins to say that he shouldn't take it, as she keeps insisting, and at one point, Bell agrees to take it and says goodbye to Seer. As he goes to the dungeon, he feels more stronger. Not to the dungeon. No, cut the part where I just said. As Bell gets to the dungeon and Ina sees him, and Ina looks at him with that face Bill, you can't go to the dungeon in your current condition. As Bill's well, I'm feeling pretty confident and I feel pretty good. As Ina looks at him with confusion and worried. As Ina says, Bill, you have to wait 3 weeks for your whole body to heal. But that's the thing. Ina didn't notice that Belle's whole body was completely fine. In fact, she said she would have to be almost limping and sliding his leg or just carrying his arm. But his whole body looked completely healed. As Ina's okay, Belle, you can go to the dungeon. As Belle is about to say yes, but Ina cuts him off but you're only allowed to go to floor 3. As Belle's really? As Ina says, I do not want to hear it. Even though you look like you fully recovered, Belle, I want to make sure that you are able to handle at least level 3. Then maybe we can talk about giving back your floor levels again. As Belle's fine. Now we get to Belle in the dungeon. As Belle begins to go on the second floor and the first and second floor, the one thing he does notice is that the monsters seem far slower than him. So slow that they were just in what's the word? I can't remember, but not even a challenge for Belle. And then Belle goes to the third floor and encounters those monster wolf guys. As then Belle sees to feeling wants to run away, then he, without realizing it, Belle remembered what Finn said and everything else. Then all of a sudden, Belle's personality slowly changed a bit. He didn't know why, but he had this weird, insane urge to say this word. The world. And all of a sudden, this yellow figure appeared behind him. 2 times, bigger than him and muscular. As the yellow figure turns to monsters, And the monsters could not see this figure, but they could feel it. They could sense this something's behind him, something with incredible potential, with incredible power and speed, which monsters thought it was just a ruse, so they ignored it and went to attack Bell. As soon as they did, all the monsters were completely, all their heads were blown off in a mere 3.8 seconds. The world's faster than that. I know that, guys, but sorry. Anyway, I want to get this over with, so that's where we're ending it off. But if you guys really want to enjoy this, I am planning to make part 2. I know part 1's longer, but I'm sorry about that. But I hope you enjoyed this. I'll make part 2 tomorrow morning, so please stay tuned, guys. You know what? Screw it. I'm continuing this. Let's do this. As Bell begins to As Bell was amazed by this big guy's speed. Bell could just clearly see his speed somehow. It was like Bell was a level 6 or 7. But compared to level 6 and 7, the world is many times more faster and stronger than any level 7 or 6 adventurer. Heck, even if they were a level 15, they would still not be able to see its speed. So, the figure looked at Bell with confusion, but then he sensed the aura around him. Then the being disappeared into his body. When this figure did this, Bell felt his whole body drained just a little bit, and Bell fell unconscious because he's not used to the world ability. And 3 more monsters appeared behind Bell, and with some reason, instinct took over as Bell said these words again, but different. Za Warldo! All of a sudden, the monsters were in suspended animation, like they were not even moving. As Bell begins suddenly, Miss begins materializing his aka stand by accident. Bell's urge was to just simply punch it. And when he punched the monster, it died. The head exploded. In time stop, it looked like it was about to explode. Bell did this to all the other monsters. And as soon as time resumed, all the monsters' bodies were completely broken and already were disappearing. And as Bell went back down to Ina, and that's where I'm going to be ending it there. If you guys really did enjoy this, please like the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.